Hi, this is James Collins, manager of Endress Motorrad. We're here today looking at the 2011 K1600GTL. Thought we'd put together a little video to show our customers some features and functions on this bike. It's a lovely day here in Toronto, mid-20s. We're going to do some riding down here by Lake Ontario, and hopefully you guys enjoy the video. So I'm going to show you the cockpit view here on the 1600. It's very clean, as you can see. BMW did a great job of minimizing the amount of buttons here on the side. In 2010 they introduced what's called the multi-controller. It first came out on the 2010 R1200 RT. It was very limited for that bike because it didn't have this great display that we see here on the 1600. But the significance of it is there's many menu features that this bike has, and they can all be controlled easily while the rider is riding. So in addition to the multi-controller, we have the cruise control. Cruise control is engaged by clicking over the switch. Forward is accelerate, backwards is decelerate. They're both deactivated by pressing either the brake or the clutch. We have also the LED fog lights right here. We have the four-way flashers. We have your menu scan button to go through the menus on the bike. There is a fair bit of information, like I mentioned. We also have the windshield adjustment. Goes a fair bit up and down. One nice feature with the windshield on this bike is every time you shut the key off, the windshield shuts down and covers over the GPS. And turn signals left and right, and a cancel, single cancel in between. Of course, our horn. Over here on the right on the right stalk, we have the lock button. This will lock all the bags and compartments on the bike, as well as the mode select. Now, the mode select is on every single one of the 1600s. In Canada, 1600 GTLs come standard with the traction control, so it's also enabling the traction control. On the GTs, it is an option. But as you press the mode button, you will get a different throttle response, rain, also road, and dynamic. Now, rain is your lowest mode, and as you step it up gradually, you increase the torque that the bike is going to give you on demand. When you want to release the windshield when you want to release the GPS on this bike, you press this button here in the center. The windshield will move up and out of the way, and you can pull it and remove it for safety. One of the nice innovations BMW's made on this bike is an air deflection system. Now what it does is, as the rider's riding, he can pull this forward and it will direct a clean airflow at the rider. On a hot day, you're going to get a nice slipstream of air without any buffeting. So the 1600 GTL also has Sirius satellite radio in addition to iPod integration. Nice little pocket here in the side. Open it up and we've got the BMW USB and audio cable. There's a perfect pocket in here as well for an iPod or an iPhone to rest in there. Every BMW K1600 GTL comes equipped with alarm and central locking system. It is quite nice. You have the one remote, you have your lock and your unlock button. When you arm it the first step, you will hear all the bags and compartments on the bike lock. To arm the alarm system, you press the arm button one more time and you will hear an acknowledgement sound. Now, to disengage the alarm, you can either stick the key in the bike or you can press the unarm button as well, and you'll hear another acknowledgement letting you know that it's worked. Our 2011 K1600 demo, we've retrofitted with an LED third brake light. It is very bright and it is very easy to equip on the bike. Nice feature with the top case is that it has shocks, and you have electricity that is run through the back power outlet. It gives you a heated backrest, the third brake light, and an internal light in here as well. So the BMW K1600 is the first motorcycle that BMW's produced with its famous inline 6-cylinder engine. One of the benefits of this engine is it is extremely smooth. This bike has an immense amount of torque as well. Pretty much just over idle, this bike is making 100 foot-pounds of torque, which is comparable to most large displacement motorcycles' peak torque. This bike makes 130 foot-pounds of torque at peak. So we're going to take a ride. We have some beautiful roads around here in Pickering, and I hope you enjoy it. As I ride the bike, I can really notice the torque that this bike makes pretty much everywhere in the power band. Easily you can twist the throttle and take off without having to change gears. I know personally this bike can take off from 6th gear without much of a fuss. In addition to the multi-controller, BMW's actually invented a couple new things for this motorcycle. One is the adaptive headlight. This is the first adaptive headlight featured on a motorcycle, and what it does is, as the bike is leaning into a corner, the lean angle sensors will give the headlights a reading, and it will in fact aim the headlight farther off into the road rather than dipping as a headlight usually does. This bike also features BMW's electronic suspension adjustment too, which features dampening and preload adjustments available through the electronic button. The nice feature with ESA2 is it adapts and makes its changes very quickly. One of the nice things on this bike is the wind protection that it offers. As you're riding down, you can adjust the electronic windshield and basically get no buffeting at all. They do a very good job at isolating the wind for the passenger as well. Even though the passenger sits up quite high, they get a very good view of the road. As you're riding this bike, you can really see BMW's intention with it. There's a lot of bikes in the luxury touring market. The mainstay is the Honda Goldwing. Now, what BMW did to differentiate this bike from the Goldwing is play to BMW's strengths, and that comes into the handling and the power that this bike makes. It is really more of a sport touring. I mean, it is very comfortable, don't get confused, but it is more of a touring bike meant for the sport enthusiast who would like to further his distances he'd like to travel. The K1600GTL in Canada has an MSRP of $29,225. For Canada, BMW has optioned it fully, so it comes with the electronic suspension adjustment, traction control, adaptive headlights, Sirius satellite radio, iPod integration, and pretty much everything else. Welcome back. We're back at the dealership here, Endress Motorrad. We'd like to thank you for watching the video. Please feel free to stop in at the showroom. We're at 100 Achilles Road in Ajax at the Salem 401 exit. Or, of course, watch out for another video on www.bmwbikes.ca.